This year, I've set out to clear as many games from my backlog as possible. If you haven't seen an episode before, I randomly pick out 3 games I've never played before and play them for a minimum of 1 hour. No restrictions on the genre, no minimum rating, let's get into it. Severed Steel had me like, holy moly, this game goes hard. A fire soundtrack, really fun mechanics, a ton of customization, and a destructible environment on top of that. This game is just built for pure entertainment. Half of my time playing in the beginning, I was either upside down or sideways or super disoriented, but it was so much fun learning the movement. By the end of my 1 hour session, I found myself feeling exhausted, for lack of a better word, from playing it. The constant action was super intense feeling, but I loved nearly every second of it. Except for this one part that I was stuck on for far too long. Overall, this game is awesome, and nearly every second of playing it was like the equivalent of video game crack to me. I'm definitely looking forward to 100%ing this game at some point in the near future, and I'm so glad I got this while it was free off Epic. Let me start off by saying that for the first 10 minutes, I tried to figure out how to get my FPS to go past 30. And without this Steam guide I found, I probably would have been forced to gouge my eyes out watching the slideshow performance, so huge shout out to this cookie guy. I want to point out the fact that I'm a former RuneScape player with max skills, so the fact that I found the beginning of Forager to be extremely tedious really speaks volumes. The entire beginning had absolutely no tutorials or directions, so I was extremely confused as what I was doing or what I should be doing. And the fact that you were constantly using food to regain energy to break more things after only a couple of rocks or trees means I found myself always lacking it, and I was always starving to the point where I nearly died at one point from not being able to eat for so long. Luckily, I figured out that you could just craft fish traps to automatically collect fish for you to eat, but I spent pretty much my entire food supply of berries crafting a couple of them, so it was, still a problem. I also didn't realize I could expand my island for way too long just because I didn't pay enough attention to the menu, so I was stuck with my very limited resources for way longer than I honestly should have. While I think a lot of this is just a skill issue, I still feel the game was lacking in some regards, but I was getting kind of addicted to playing it by the end. Especially after I made my first pickaxe upgrade to the slime pickaxe. So maybe I'll revisit this one in the near future. Okay, this game's story is a little odd. Oops, you burned your house down by accident, that sucks. Don't worry, I'll teach you how to be a mage. Oh, just kidding, mages learn by doing, so go do some mage stuff. If you weren't the main character, you just go in here and be like, honestly, the entire start of this game had me really bored, but once I got to finally do the boss fight and obtain my first spell modifier, the game really started to open up from here. In the beginning, you have an almost lame melee kind of playstyle, but once you get this movement modifier, it instantly turns it into a playstyle more fitting of a mage. Your previously stationary fireball and ice spell now actually move, and my defensive spell is now super fun to use dash. This ice spell is also really OP for AoE from what I could tell, but I don't know. If I had one real complaint about the game, it would be the very annoying camera angle. Sometimes it would be okay, and sometimes I was fighting and it felt like I should have just been watching a cutscene instead. A big thing I want to also point out is that every animation really locks you into it. It's similar to dodge rolling in a From Software game. I tried to get in one extra fireball hidden on a vine. Can't dodge fast enough. Overall, while I am somewhat curious to see what other spell modifiers the game has in store, I'm unlikely to return to it myself, and maybe I'll just watch a YouTube video on it instead. It's not that the game was bad or anything, I just don't find it particularly enjoyable, even though I do love the concept of mixing and modding your spells. So that's 3 more games I can check off from my backlog. Keep in mind that these are just my initial impressions based on about an hour of gameplay. So if you think I judged a game unfairly or you'd like to see me revisit it, consider leaving me a comment down below. Goodbye.